Ladies and gentlemen, so the Ultimate World Cup final is here. So it's going to be a rematch from the 2018 World Cup matchup between Argentina and France. And oh boy, what a game this is going to be. I'm hoping this is going to be a great final. And, you know, I personally hope that this final is going to be kind of better than the 2018 final, if I'm being honest here. Because the 2018 final, it was pretty good, I'd have to say. But then in just the second half, France, they took full control of that game against Croatia. So that's why I would love to see this final go to extra time, maybe even penalties. We don't know yet. But, you know, going into this final, let's talk about France first, okay? And then I will talk about Argentina. And then I guess you could say I will give my honest prediction on who I think is going to win the final. So, starting with the France national team, what can I say about the France national team? It's crazy to think that France would have made it back to a World Cup final again after winning it the previous 4 years, because obviously, you know, everybody was talking about the World Cup winners curse, this and that, blah, 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 about how France were going to fall victim to the supposed World Cup winners curse. But I guess you could say that France, they either broke that curse or that thing was just a big hoax, because obviously, you know, looking at the France national team, a lot of people probably thought France were going to fall victim to the curse, to the supposed curse, even though I think that the World Cup winners curse turned out to be complete BS, if you want to know my honest opinion on that. Because, I mean, if you think about it, obviously, France, they did not crash in the group stage like how the previous World Cup winners did, the previous, I guess, the previous 5 World Cup winners, because, or I think the previous 4 or something like that, because now, France, man, they just, they just did the impossible. They made it to back-to-back World Cup finals, and I guess you gotta give credit here to just France's squad depth, because obviously having depth in your squad makes a very, very big difference, because obviously you look at the France national team, even though they don't have key players like basically Kanté, Pogba in their midfield, they obviously still have Tchouaméni, who I think has been a key difference maker for France in their midfield, especially his goal against England goes to show you here that because the insane amount of depth that France have with Rabiot and Tchouaméni, look where it carried them to another World Cup final. So that is something absolutely insane for France, you know, because obviously France, they could be the first nation. They are definitely on the, I think, verge of being up there with Germany and with Brazil and with Italy in terms of, you know, winning multiple World Cups and all that good stuff. And obviously, the main player, or I can say that the main reason why France are doing so well is because of one man, Kylian Mbappe. And we gotta talk about Kylian Mbappe, because what Kylian Mbappe is doing right now for France is absolutely insane, you know. Because when I was growing up, everybody's GOAT either was Messi or Ronaldo. But for me today, I personally would happen to argue that my GOAT would have to be Kylian Mbappe, just because of what he's doing right now. That I think Mbappe is going to be the, it's going to be between Mbappe or, well, it's hard to say whether it's going to be between Mbappe or Haaland, or who's going to be the true GOAT of the second of this current generation right now. Because in the past, it was either Messi or Ronaldo. But now it could be between Mbappe and Haaland, even though Haaland, he's yet to play in a tournament. But for me right now, the future GOAT of this generation, in other words, would have to be Kylian Mbappe, because obviously what Mbappe is doing, if he does win another World Cup with France, then I think it's safe to say here that Mbappe, I know I'm going to probably be called crazy for saying this, but if Mbappe does win another World Cup with France, if he wins back-to-back World Cups with them, then I think he definitely belongs in the same conversation as Pele. And here's why, because obviously the last time a footballing nation repeated as World Cup winners was, I think, Brazil in 1958 and 1962, and since then no nation has ever repeated as World Cup winners. So obviously, and the way how Mbappe is playing, you know, he has his traits, his footballing traits, I think, are very similar to Pele. You know, both won the World Cup before they hit the age of 20. You know, Pele, he won the World Cup at the age of 17, while Mbappe, he won the World Cup at age of 19. So that's why I think Mbappe belongs in the same conversation as Pele. And obviously Mbappe, I think he's going to definitely break Ronaldo's, well, he already broke Ronaldo and Messi's World Cup goal scoring record, but I will say this, though. I think he's definitely going to break Miroslav Klose and Brazilian Ronaldo's all-time World Cup goal-scoring record and become the all-time World Cup goal scorer in the future. Like, I think that it's bound to happen, if you want to know my honest opinion. And obviously, with Mbappe's footballing traits, he possesses a lot of traits that are similar to Pele's, the way how I see it in terms of speed, for example, like how Pele had in his prime, finishing, just like how Pele had it in his prime, and just that quickness and agility and the ability to hit oppositional defenses on the counterattack like Pele. That's what Mbappe has. So that's why I think that if Mbappe wins it, he belongs in the same conversation as Pele does. So yeah, obviously for France, it's all, I think, going to rest on the shoulders of Mbappe. And another player that's been doing really well for France at this World Cup would have to be Griezmann. And we got to talk about Griezmann because Griezmann, he's been absolutely balling out for France, being an assist provider for him. And the biggest question I'm trying to figure out is why did Griezmann, why did his stint at Barcelona fail? Because obviously everybody thought Barcelona were getting a good player in Griezmann, going back to all that transfer when Barca got Griezmann from Atletico Madrid. A lot of people probably thought Griezmann was going to help lead Barca to a Champions League victory, but I really don't know what the hell happened to Griezmann at Barca. Why his stint was practically a failure at Barcelona, why he didn't live up to the expectations like how everybody thought he was going to do. Now that's that, and it's still kind of a mystery to me whether it's because Barca just didn't know how to use Griezmann right or anything in that matter. But regardless, man, Griezmann, another player to watch out for France. And I heard talks apparently of Benzema could be available as well for France in the World Cup final matchup against Argentina. Even though Benzema did not play a single minute for France in this World Cup, he apparently could be available. So I don't know what's that about, but that would be insane if Benzema were to be available for France for the World Cup final. Obviously, for France, man, a team that despite not having key players like Kanté and Pogba, they still are getting it done, man, mainly because of squad depth. And yeah, I guess the depth plus Mbappe plus Griezmann have really been carrying this France team on their backs. That they put them in a great position why France could once again repeat as World Cup champions. So now that I'm done talking about the France national team for this part of the video, for the other part of this video, I'm going to talk about the Argentina national team. So let's get into it, man. So what can I say about the Argentina national team? Obviously, Argentina, they are without a doubt on a redemption tour because obviously we all know what happened in that 2014 World Cup. Argentina bossed their way at the World Cup, made it to a World Cup final where unfortunately they lost to Germany because of a goal by Mario Götze, scored I think in the 100-something minute. I don't remember, but I do remember it was in the second half of extra time when Mario Götze just scored a goal from a assist provided by Andre Schürrle, who doesn't even play for Germany anymore. That's right. If you guys remember, Andre Schürrle, he's the one that provided the game-winning assist to Mario Götze, and now he's not even on the Germany national team anymore, Andre Schürrle. So it's crazy to think that the player that, was a crucial reason why Germany won the World Cup in 2014 is no longer on the team. That's just absolutely insane to think. Because obviously Andre Schürrle, he lost his form and all that because Andre Schürrle was a very promising player, and I would happen to argue he was a crucial reason for Germany winning that World Cup. And obviously, now that he's no longer on the team because of, I guess, form loss, obviously Argentina now, ever since that game, everybody's still been debating whether Ronaldo or Messi is the true GOAT. But obviously, let me just say this. If Messi does win the World Cup with Argentina, I think it's safe to say here he's the GOAT. Obviously, let's be honest here, man. Messi, he finally has a great opportunity to finally win a World Cup because, let's be honest, Messi, he deserves a World Cup trophy whether people like it or not because obviously, despite me, thinking that it was going to be a Portugal-Argentina final because I really would have loved to see that final, but I still think that at the end of the day, if Messi wins the World Cup, he's the GOAT. Bottom line, period. No arguments, no debates, no excuses. I mean, Messi, he finally has a chance to lift that trophy for once. And, if Argentina do win this World Cup, I think they can definitely dedicate it to the legend himself, Diego Maradona, because obviously this year it's going to be the 2-year anniversary of Maradona's passing. And I think that Argentina winning the World Cup would be a great way to pay tribute to the legend himself in Diego Maradona, because obviously Argentina, they are 2-time World Cup winners, much like how France are. And Argentina, man, that team besides Messi, they still have got it, especially on just the counter-attacking opportunities like how they, or the counter-attacks like how they did against Croatia. Goes to show you here that Argentina, they can still hit France on the counter, but I think it's kind of an unpredictable game just because I think both sides match up against each other very well, even though I do think France might have the slight advantage here over Argentina in this game in just terms of a player quality depth and just basically overall player depth and just the ability to hit opposing defenses on the counterattack. Like, that's going to be a big task for Argentina to figure out, because obviously one way how France can defeat Argentina here is if they just hit Argentina on the counter like how they did in 2018 when Argentina was not able to stop France from hitting them on the counter, you know. So that's one way how I imagine France could win this game. But the other way how I imagine if Argentina could win this game is if they simply win the midfield battle against France, and if Messi just does his best assist provide impression, meaning that if Messi can basically play also like a midfielder in terms of providing assists, then maybe that's one other way how I imagine Argentina can beat France. But it's still very tough to say because obviously France's defense is pretty good, I'd have to say, even though they don't have Lucas Hernandez. Theo Hernandez, he's, I guess, a pretty decent player for France still, because France's defense, yeah, they're going to have a big day to figure out how they're going to stop Messi and all that. And if France do that, then that's how I imagine they could beat Argentina in this game. But for Argentina, I think it's really going to come down to the shoulders of Messi and just the midfield and how well the Argentina keeper does, because obviously those are the factors that I think are going to determine whether or not Argentina has a true solid chance of finally winning a World Cup and beating France to dethrone them and be crowned the World Cup champions and give Messi his crown finally. So yeah, that's going to be one way how I think this is going to come out. But you know, for my final prediction for the final, I honestly would have to say I imagine it's going to be 4-3 for Argentina, like the score last time between Argentina and France, you know, in which France beat Argentina 4-3. This time, I'm saying 4-3 for Argentina, baby, just because, hey, I think it's finally time that Messi, he's earned the rights to win a World Cup trophy, whether people like it or not, okay? It's like, come on, dude, Messi, man, hey, I'm happy for him in Argentina, despite me kind of hoping that, you know, Ronaldo was going to go all the way with Portugal. I have to be happy for Messi in Argentina. You know, I'm not going to be one of those bitter football fans that's going to be super salty if Argentina or Messi win. No, I'm not like that. And I don't know why some people are like that, because at the end of the day, it's just a sport. It ain't real life. And if Messi does win the World Cup, the biggest question you have to ask yourself is, how is that affecting your life? How is that impacting your life? You know, so yeah. But hey, if France win, man, I'll be happy for him too. You know, Mbappe, man, I'll be extremely happy for him as well, just because Mbappe, man, he's just, for me, my GOAT is Mbappe. Even though I'll be happy for Messi if he wins, I think that the future GOAT of this footballing generation is without a doubt Kylian Mbappe, just because the impact he's made for football and the France national team is something that I haven't seen since, something that hasn't happened for like an individual player to do since, you know, Pele made that crazy impact for Brazil when he was still playing football in his prime and all that stuff. And speaking of Pele, the biggest question I'm trying to figure out is how come Pele never played in Europe, you know, because the way how Pele has been performing, especially for his time, you would think he would get picked up by a big club like Real Madrid, Barcelona, or maybe a Premier League or a Serie A club. But, you know, Pele, he's never played in Europe. I don't know why he never played football in Europe like how Maradona did when he was playing for Barcelona and Napoli. But I guess that's a whole nother story for another video. But yeah, man, this is going to be a hell of a final. I definitely think it's going to be better than the 2018 final one, but I'm still going by with Argentina because my heart is telling me that Messi, he's finally going to win that trophy, and it's finally, I guess, going to settle the debate between Messi and Ronaldo and all that stuff. But yeah, man, I guess that's the video here. Should be a really good game. If you guys have any of your own predictions, then let me know. But anyways, like, comment, subscribe, and see ya.